Good morning, and how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing amazing. So, we're back. It's 5 a.m., January 29th, and we're on chapter 20, which will likely actually be chapter 19 when we're in final form. I have almost for sure decided to condense two of the chapters into each other. I just haven't figured out how to work them or where to break them up and stuff. But we will be kicking butt. I'm going to get chat up real quick. I'm pseudo awake. I do have some coffee. I have got a little bit of the coffee in me, so we're not a total wreck, but definitely still in the state of becoming awake. I hope y'all are doing amazing in your own personal worlds and stuff. I'm kicking some butt, not all the way awake yet, but I think we're doing pretty freaking good, right? And so let's get this going. We'll start through this. I already noticed I want to make this more definitive in the first thing. Right now we have Amelia seem to have came up with a plan already. We're just going to make it fast as shit. Okay. Okay. I think we have this right. We might even have it spelt right. It is 5 a.m. though, so let's just be honest. Give me a second to wake up and we'll be doing a lot better. I do have chat up, it appears. That's a good sign. Double checking. Yep, we do. That's even a better sign. You guys rock. So here's what we have. Without even a seconds hesitation. Wait. Without hesitating even a second. Ooh, do I like how I said it in my mind better though? Without even a second's hesitation. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, I think we got that. Okay, without even a second's hesitation, Amelia devised a plan. See, that sounds freaking better. That's what we're trying to do here. We're actually just trying to look for mistakes and stuff, but you know. I watched her gather up weapons from the dead troops. She handed them out, marshaling the remaining crew and making sure everyone was armed. Mia asked, "What are we going to do? When they detach from our ship, they will destroy us." Amelia replied, I think we had Sam lock them out, so I'll have to look at that and fix this, guys. But I have locked them out of their ship's controls. I think we just, you know what we do? We eliminate the need to know. They are locked. Watch this. Boom. They are locked out of their ship's controls. The problem is they had already sent off a message before I shut things down. We need to deal with the imminent threat first. We have to board their ship and eliminate its crew. Then we need to get out of here before anyone else arrives. Brandon, Orion, Rory, Mia, Kiara, and I formed up on Amelia. Blake and Toby still stood in shock, looking upon the dreadful sight of Sarah's tragic remains. I knew they would need to pull their shit together if they were going to have any chance of surviving. Salvador was still laying there dying, so I told Toby and Blake to take him to the medical bay and get him in the regeneration chamber. I hoped this would save Salvador and give them enough time to compose themselves before returning to the fray of battle. Then the rest of us made our way to the sealed doors of the docking corridor between the ships. Amelia moved to the control panels, saying, "They will have a team waiting for us." I turned off their life support earlier and shut them out of most of their systems. Some of the crew had already gotten suits on, though. Okay, let's change this. Some of the crew Not liking this. Some of the crew had already gotten suits on, though, and are waiting. Okay. Okay, let's see if this is better. Some of the crew had managed to don environmental spacesuits and are waiting. Let's change this. Let's put combat spacesuits. That sounds even better, right? Some of the crew had managed to don combat spacesuits and are waiting. That works. This is going to be a fight to the death, so we need to come at them hard and get ready. Um, I think we can just leave that. This is going to be a fight to the death, so we need to come at them hard. Yeah, that works fine, right? We readied ourselves for the door to open and the chaos to take over the moment once more. I remembered the medical nanite injector I had taken earlier from the medical bay. I quickly injected it, hoping it would stem the pain now shooting up my arm. I made sure I knew which pocket the remaining injector was in, then checked my weapons and prepared to board the other ship. We needed to ready positions, knowing the corporate soldiers in the corridor were well armed and would be fighting for their lives. It only took a few minutes for us to create crude firing positions using containers and other items, hoping it would provide us cover. As Amelia opened the door, laser fire ripped through the air. We all had good positions, and the first volley of laser fire hit our defenses. That is when we opened up. Orion's plasma rifle was more effective than our lasers, and he managed to down two of the soldiers by himself during the opening barrage. Amelia was extremely accurate and managed to strike one with a lethal hit at the far end of the corridor. I hit one in the shoulder, wounding him, but he managed to get to cover and was still in the fight. The rest of the shots missed their targets, though, and now it was a free-for-all. For a brief time, it looked like we would be unable to break their defenses as more soldiers came into the corridor. As they began taking positions, it was clear they were gaining the advantage in numbers. Then Rory cast an acceleration and shield spell on Amelia. With that, Amelia moved forward, firing at a blistering rate. We provided suppressive fire, while Mia pushed forward to cast a sigil spell. As the sigil formed, it took down 9 of the soldiers who seemed to suffocate as burning green gas escaped from their mouths and noses. Okay. The gas trapped in their helmets, melting their faces as they gasped for their last breaths. Rory was hit in the abdomen and slumped back out of the corridor to cover. The panic it created was enough, though. The soldiers' confidence was broken, and they moved to retreat from the corridor. As they left their defensive positions, they became easy targets, allowing us to kill most of them in their retreat. Rory was wounded, but still conscious, and now back on her feet, to our surprise. Her bleeding seemed to have stopped as it became clear she was using some kind of magic to draw life force from one of the wounded soldiers. We quickly moved through through the enemy ship's corridors before Kiera sensed the. Wait, are we using K Kiera or C Kiera? Yeah, see, look at this crap. I don't know why I switched her name right there. That's not what we do. Did we do that up there too? Who knows? I'll catch it later on. Kara sensed the soldiers forming up again. They were just around a corner where they had set up another defensive position. We would have to fight through them to make it to the bridge. Amelia and I stacked behind Oren's, hoping Oren's armor would provide some protection. We would hit first, hopefully not getting killed, as we tried to move to the positions. Rory, Brandon, me, and Kara would provide a follow-on attack. We moved quickly, hoping to gain some level of advantage, but as soon as we came around the corner, they began firing. Oren's armor did take some of the hits. In the exchange of fire, I managed to get a few shots off, taking down a couple of soldiers before I was taken down. I was hit once in the leg, and one more wound to my arm. Wait, one more in my wounded arm. I was hit once in the leg, and once more in my wounded arm. I'm not really sure. Let's leave that there right now. Which was, and let's switch this out. Now completely non-functioning. Okay, I think this sounds good. I was hit once in the leg and once more in my wounded arm. I really am not liking that. I was hit once in the leg and okay, let's see if this sounds better. I was hit once in the leg, and the second hit finished off my wounded arm, which was now completely non-functioning. I had fell to the ground and knew I would be dead in the open, so I crawled to get to cover. Brandon, Mia, Rory, and Kiara came around the corner. Mia began to cast a spell as she was hit in the chest, dropping her to the ground. The fire back and forth lasted for several more seconds before we had taken the corridor. Mia seemed to be alive, but she was severely wounded. I managed to crawl to Mia and struggled to get the nanite injector out, still dealing with the pain from being hit. I finally was able to inject her, hoping to stabilize Mia and keep her alive. I would not be much help with a ruined arm and a wounded leg, but we had made it to the bridge. As Amelia, Orion, Kiara, Rory, and Brandon formed up on the bridge door, Blake and Toby arrived. It seemed we had the advantage, and soon things would conclude. I watched as Amelia hacked the door, and as it opened, okay, that does make sense. As it opened, fire erupted. The amount of fire was far more intense than I had expected. Within seconds, Brandon had been hit in the ribs and legs, dropping to the ground, and a burst from a plasma rifle ripped through Toby, striking him several times, including once directly in his face. Toby was instantly lifeless, and Brandon was now wounded and gasping for breath. The fight only went on for a few seconds, and for a second or two more. Click. Before they had taken the bridge. Oh, that's supposed to be a comma, guys. Sorry. The fight only went on for a second or two more before they had taken the bridge of the other ship, but at a huge cost. And I think that we can leave that as they, even though it's the whole group is taking the bridge. With the fight for the bridge now over, Blake still gasping for air, noticed his younger brother Toby's lifeless body and went into a complete emotional collapse. Amelia commanded Orion to get the wounded to the medical bay, so Orion carried Blake back back onto our ship. Jesus Christ. Let's figure out what the heck. This sounds horrible right here. Amelia commanded Orion to get the wounded back to the medical bay. So Orion carried. Let's pause there. Watch this. With that, let's see if this works better. With that, Orion carried Blake back onto our ship. Carried Blake back to our ship to take him to the medical bay as Rory stood guard in case of an attack from any remaining ship crew. Okay. Kier moved to me with a look of concern while helping to keep watch. Soon, a couple of the ship's damaged security robots arrived from what looked to... Wait, I'm sorry, guys. This is not reading smooth. Kiera moved to me with a look of concern while helping to keep... No. See, we don't need this in there. While keeping watch. Soon a couple of ships Soon, a couple of ship security robots under our control arrived from what looked, that's where the comma goes, from what looked to be hunting down the remaining crew. Okay, let's do this. They instantly took position standing guard over Amelia as she worked to establish and take over all the ship's systems. Amelia soon re-emerged from the bridge, telling Kiera and Rory to help Mia. I'm gonna have to have him watching through the door here. I'll fix this in a second. Let me figure out what we're doing here. Care mode. I don't know. I have to figure out why I have him watching her. So. Oh, you know what? Kiera moved to me with a look of concern. Okay, let's see if this fixes the situation and explains why he can see, right? Nope. So I think we've got it right here fixed. I mean, it's going to change what happens, but it'll make sense. Watch this. Kiera moved to me with a look of concern, pulling me into the doorway corridor of the bridge while keeping watch. Soon, a couple of ship security robots under our control arrived, from what looked to be hunting down the remaining crew. They instantly took positions standing guard over Amelia as she worked to establish and take over all the ship's systems. Amelia soon reemerged from soon and emerged from the bridge, telling Kiera and Rory to help Mia and Brandon to the medical bay of the newly acquired ship. Okay. The idea of relief from the pain was a reassuring one. I watched Kiera and Rory help Mia and Brandon down the corridor towards the medical bay. Amelia stood over me, looking as if she was examining me with mixed intent. My leg was not working, but Amelia was shockingly strong and was able to lift me up and swing me over her shoulder with a single motion. I could now sense the unnatural nature within her, the nanites flowing through her, and what seemed to be another modification, including a similar one to the AI implant within my head. And so this is when he first realizes there's something up. It's not going to matter. It's not going to be in time. So I'll probably actually put some more, hey, something is up in here, just so you guys know. I don't feel that that's as smooth as it should be still, but I haven't felt any of them are as smooth as they should be. Luckily, I have my weekend in which I'm going to go back through everything like I've been doing. Um, but we're freaking kicking butt, guys. Like, in all honesty, next 2 weeks we should be done with this. Let's call it 3 weeks because reality, and stuff. But we are rocking through this. And so we're done with chapter 20. And in all honesty, we'll be hitting chapter 21 tomorrow. Of course, these chapters are all going to be switched up as I, fix the format of the book and stuff like that. But, we're rocking. I do want to thank you guys for hanging out this morning, being epic. In a little bit, I'll be back with Call of Dragons, super fun game. You guys, though, I hope have a great day. Peace, very best wishes, and I'll see you tomorrow.